I know you know about Dehancer film emulsion. I did. I've known about it for years, but I never touched it. Part of that was because I was scared to, because I'm not a photographer, or I wasn't a photographer. So when they reached out to me and they said, "Hey Andy, we love your video work. We'd like to get your review, your feedback on this." I was like, "Oh, perfect opportunity. Sure, absolutely." For me, now being a photographer, messing with some old film stocks as presets and knowing some people who do presets, Dave Herring, it's been great to experience that, and it opened the door for me to really kind of get my hands wet with Dehancer. Now, the cool thing about Dehancer, I use it in DaVinci Resolve, and I also use it in Lightroom Classic. The other places that you can use it, Final Cut Pro, Final Cut X, Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects, as well as your iPad and your iPhone. So they are really trying to incorporate it in almost your everyday living and make it in a tool for you to use the next time you think about taking a photo or a video. Full disclosure, Dehancer's not paying me for this video. In fact, they're gonna see it when everybody else does, when it goes live on YouTube. They're also giving me the product for free for a couple of years because of the review. They're also giving me a 10% discount for anybody who wants to order Dehancer. Use TF10 at checkout. The one cool thing about this whole experience is that they wanted an honest review and my input for feedback. Hopefully they use that to improve the product, and I like working with companies that use that approach. Let's jump into DaVinci Resolve and I'll show you my experience. All right, we're in DaVinci Resolve and let's go into the Effects tab. And when we're in the Effects tab, let's go to Open Effects, and that's where we're gonna find Dehancer Pro. Just drag that and drop it on our footage. Now this footage has been already processed. It's already been exported. And so when you go over to Dehancer Pro for the input, you're gonna see Rec 709. That's what I'm gonna use here. And these are all the other selections that we're gonna do. Since this is not log or raw footage, I'm not gonna use this, but later I'll show you how to use Dehancer Pro on log footage. So right now, Rec 709 would do. So all this comes with the input. I'm not gonna touch it since the source file has already been graded and everything else. So let's jump into the stock film. Now, these are all the stock films that they have. And one of them, the thing that I love is how many we have to choose from. The thing I don't love about it is how we select it. It's a list, so you have to go from one to next, to the next, to scroll, to find it. And it's really difficult to go through those things. Now, as far as usability, it's a pain in the butt, but you can always go to their website to see the list of films that they actually do have. Okay, so we're at Dehancer's website, and if you come to Films and Profiles, it'll show you all the films that Dehancer has in their plugin. So you have motion picture films, color negative films, color positive films, black and white films, instant films, exotic films, and cross processed films. And one of the cool things is if you just click on one of these hyperlinked films, it gives you a history and about, and sometimes even scans, exposure tests, and it looks really cool. Well done. So I love the fact that I can go in here and see what films that they have on here. Let's go back to DaVinci. The thing that I would like to see is a gallery so we could preview what it looks like and you can select it a lot quicker. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select one that I already know that I want for this one in particular. So let's go through the parameters. Film developer. This tool is handy because it controls developer contrast, gamma curve shaping, and color separation to simulate development chemistry effects. So I turn that on, and I'm gonna just do a little bit of contrast boost as well as color boost. Film compression adjusts highlight compression impact, white point clipping, tonal range width affected, and color density to mimic film highlight roll-off. And this one I'm definitely gonna turn on. And I'm gonna mess with the color density, bring it up. The tonal range, I'm definitely gonna be bringing that up. So say about there. Impact, bring it up just a bit and leave the rest alone.
Expand, I'm not touching that. The expand is really just dynamically adjust the black and white points and contrast properties to match film profile contrast and maintain shadow highlight details. Now, print is something that I really enjoy a lot. So print simulates the final printing process on film print stocks, including the ability to output in linear or Cineon film log print profiles. So right now, as well as Fujifilm and Kodak. Since I chose Kodak, I'm going to use this one, the Kodak Endure glossy paper. It's such a good look. I'm really happy with that. I'm not going to touch any of these other ones. And here are a lot more parameters I'm not going to use for this tutorial, but I'm going to go through them. Color head is the cyan, magenta, yellow filters, controlling color adjustment and exposure compensation to emulate analog printing color corrections. Now we also have film grain, which I'm not a fan of film grain. So I'm gonna go to 65mm ISO 50, and it brings it down because 65mm is a bigger film, so the grain is a lot smaller. And it also drops it down to 10, so I like that look. And I do want a very subtle film look. Halation, I'm gonna leave halation and bloom off, but if you don't know, halation simulates blooming red-orange glow around bright objects. Controls include source limiter, background gain, and smoothness parameters. And bloom adds soft glow to bright areas, enhancing the classic film highlight appearance. We also have film damage, film breath, gate weave, and overscan. All these are for like old school films and also for projectors. And it's wonderful that they put it into this because when you use it, it's great. You could use it as far as nostalgic, throwback. You could use it in vintage films. You could use it in music videos. There's so many different practical effects that you can use it with, but for what I'm using right here with this project, I don't need it. But basically, like overscan, as soon as I turn that on, you can see what that looks like. So I don't need that. The vignette, I'm not going to use. I think everyone knows how to use that. LUT generator is something that is really cool because you can export the colors or the LUTs from what you're working with. Now it says for down here, LUT includes all currently enabled plugin settings except the grain, bloom, halation, and vignette effects. So once you export it, you can use it again on different projects. If you find that look, that's really you dialed in, you're like, this is it. You could do that. Another way to do that, because I have no idea how to set presets in DaVinci, you can come in and in DaVinci, you go into the effects tab, go into effects, grab an adjustment clip, and just drag and drop it, put it on top of your footage, click Command C, and then Option V to paste the attributes onto the actual footage. I'm gonna turn these off and put on plugin right there. So now if I click on here, it should be in the effects right there. Awesome. Now I could take this, I have to go back to the media pool, drag this into my master bin in my power bins, and once it's in there, now I could use it for any project that I want to do later and just rename it Dehancer Talent Freaks. And now I could delete it from here and it'll stay in my power bin for later use. So really this is kind of what the look that I want for this. This is really cool. So let's go in and turn off the effects and see how it looks with it on and off. On, off. Wow. On, off. And then let's go back to the front end. That's on, it's off. One more time when he's coloring. Yeah, definitely. I love the look when it's on. You see how the white kind of fades into like a flat white? To me, I love that. Wow. All right. So now let's move into how we do this in the color tab. So back of the project, I have copied clips, one on top of the other, where the bottom is already has a Sony LUT, so you see it down here. In the top, I'm going to add Dehancer to it. So let me go to Dehancer, select under film emulation and could do this. Of course, you can add more serial nodes, but I'm not going to be grading in this one. So click on that and it brings up all the parameters just like you saw in the edit page. So here though, we're going to select for the source, choose camera. The vendor is Sony and I used Cinema FX3, Cinema Line FX3 and S-Log3 S Gamut 3 Sin. And then you have the parameters here where you exposure, composition, temperature, bring it up or down, bring it right there, tint, defringe. So for the film stock, I already kind of know what I want right here, and I'm going to use the Konica Minolta. I love that look, it's really good. So turn on the film developer, contrast boost up just a bit, color boost, let's bring that up. Film compression, let's do the same thing. The tonal range, I'm going to bring up. That looks really good already. Right there. And density, bring it up as well. Expand. The print here, I'm going to use the Fujifilm print. Ah, so good. And then the film grain, I'm just going to bring this down to 15%. And I am a happy man. That looks really cool. So that's what you could do with Dehancer in DaVinci for the color tab. You know, I'm not color grading here. I'm not going to dive into that, but you could color it first, add that in, and add in all the, you know, the extras that come with Dehancer to make it pop. Or you can have these two. Look at the difference between those two. Like, it's nice, and the colors here are so good, but man, it just pops up there. And even the grain is making me happy. So yeah, I'm a happy man. Dehancer looks great on this project. So from here, I want to go into Lightroom Classic. Let's go there. So we're in Lightroom Classic, and this is a perfect photo to use as far as an example. We're a landscape, we have people, and half of them have black shirts, so it makes it really difficult. So let's right click on here, edit in Dehancer Lightroom plugin. And here are some of the copy file options. So file format, TIFF is what I want to use, PSD or JPEG. Color space is sRGB. Display P3, Adobe RGB 1998 or ProPhoto RGB. Keep sRGB. Bit depth, 16 bits or 8 bits. Resolution, you can make it any resolution you want. And compression, none or zip. Let's go. So I'm in Lightroom Classic in the Dehancer Photo plugin for it. So let's go through. This is really cool. So they have all the previews on the left side. It's a gallery, and once you see it, you could kind of get a good idea of what you're looking for and what you want. So just looking at it as it is, I love the Porta stuff, but I'm going to scroll by that. We're going to try something different. Let's do the Rolly CN200. That's styles. Woof. So let's go ahead and let's go through the parameters and see how we can make this even better. So I'm going to leave the input and output alone. So the film developer, let's do the contrast boost up. Oh, let's go down a little bit. I don't want to lose these black shirts in the contrast. The color boost I do want to bring up because I do like to see the yellow tint from the desert, the impact. Let's bring that up. Tonal range is what I like. Right about there. Expand, black point, leave it alone. Print, let's use the Kodak print, Fujifilm print, or linear. No, let's use the Fujifilm print. Let's go down to the color head, leave it alone. Film grain, 35mm, ISO 50. I think that looks good. You also could do custom or any of these. So I'm going to leave it at 35mm, halation, bloom, and film damage. I'm going to turn on film damage. And for the Super 8 or 8mm, you could refresh it and it shows it in different places. The screen, it kind of randomizes it. If it puts it in a place where you just are like, I don't like that. That's good. That's good. So everything looks good to me. I could turn this off. That's what original looks like, and this is what the filter looks like. Let's click OK. And it brings it right into Lightroom and shows it. Now I can crop it. I could do all this other stuff with it if I want. Exposure, all the Lightroom effects that you have, you could do now. So that's really cool. I love having that in the back pocket when I'm working in Lightroom. What I like to see for Lightroom is Dehancer having a preset where you can export a preset for Lightroom. So you can make batches with that preset and export them. Right now, just my experience going through seems like you could just do it one by one. So let's now move on to their online product. So now we're at Dehancer.com and you go to their products page, and that's where you could try the Dehancer online. Just click it, opens up. You could drag or drop or click this to find it. So what I'm going to do is just drag and drop. So it's the same photo we used before. And I love the interface right here because it gives you a really good preview of all the presets that they have. So let me use my scroll wheel and scroll down or up to scroll out, and I can see all of them at once. And what's the one that's popping out to me? Like that's really popping out to me, but that is too. I like the Polaroid. Black and white we're not going to use. The Fuji Instax. Ooh, that looks good. Let's do Polaroid. Immediately it puts it right on top of that. And so you can go through the presets, which we just did. Click on that. We're still Polaroid. The light. This is the brightness and contrast. Now I don't want it to be too contrasty, especially with all the black shirts involved. So zoom out. That looks like the best one right here. Color, you got the same thing, temperature and tint. I am gonna get out of here because I don't want to touch it. And effects. The grain is not popping off at me at all. So let me bring it up a little bit. That's too much grain. Bring it down. Let's turn off the bloom. Let's turn off halation. I'm liking how it looks. Let's go to adjust. I'm gonna add a little bit of temperature of a little bit of desert. Make it a little bit warmer. That's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, that looks good for me. Might want to bring up the exposure just a bit. Put it back where it was. I'm happy with that. Yeah. Color boost. We'll see what color boost does. Whoa. One more. Yeah, let's leave it at that. That makes me happy. All right. So now you just export and go optimize for web. Let's download it. All right. So the one on the left is the one I imported, and the one on the right is what they did online. So having that online tool is so cool and valuable. The one thing that I do notice, doesn't have the film damage or other things that are a little bit deeper that you would find in the plugins, but that makes sense. You get the full plugin, you get all the tools. And this is really kind of like, you know, I want to put these, I have these pictures, I want to do it real quick, let me throw it in there and have them. That's awesome. So that's Dehancer online. And let's go check out the price point for Dehancer. So I'm going to close this. Let's go down to pricing. So the plans and pricing are fairly reasonable. Individual photo at $11 a month. I wouldn't get it just for the photos, but for photo and video, that's where I would come in. So annually $300, that's kind of pricey for me at least, because I have so many other products and features that I use consistently that it's just another bill. But if I had a client that was coming in and wanting these looks, I would get it right away. The other thing is the lifetime. So let's go Dehancer Pro for DaVinci. $600. So let's say you pay 2 years, which is $600. It pays for itself. So general support, you get no invoices, which is fine. You have plenty of other places you could do invoices. So for me, if you are a professional, come in, pay for it once, $600. And if you are just getting into it, I would go monthly. Use it when you need to. If you're a content creator, you don't have the budget for that, I would go into it monthly. Sure, it makes it more expensive, but you can also afford it monthly. Do the work you need to do, get paid for the job, bring it in and work on it. Annually, if you have that kind of cash flow coming in from businesses, this would be a great opportunity to work with. But if you're a professional and this is what you're doing and you have a bunch of clients and you're in a role, lifetime, get Dehancer Pro for any of these. Adobe, they're all the same. So I still feel like Dehancer is an expensive product, but the results are pretty amazing, and I think it's worth every penny.
So I hope you enjoyed the review. For me, Dehancer in my toolbox, it's never gonna leave. And I'm excited to keep using it moving forward. And to keep experimenting, and I hope they keep building on some of these old film stocks, update their website with more abouts and the history of all those film stocks, as well as putting that gallery into at least DaVinci so I could see it before going through that whole slider. I'm not one to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. This is more about the things that I'm learning about myself as a filmmaker, videographer. And yeah, I'm a senior in the whole video world, but I'm still learning. There are so many things that I've learned from you, the viewers, and many people on YouTube. So I hope you guys get something out of this. And if you want to know more about my work, visit me at talentfreaks.com. You can see some of my video work as well as on my YouTube page, some of the old stuff that I've done, and also the new podcast that I've been doing recently, as well as the photography that I am absolutely in love with. You can check it out on talentfreaks.com. And I'm sure in the future, I will be using Dehancer a lot in Lightroom Classic. So thanks, that's it. I hope you guys are well, and I'll see you next time.